Yo, Internet! What's happening? Welcome back. And today, we're not even working on a vehicle. We're not even working on this crusty thing. But today, we're gonna do a little 3-2-1 build. Some of you might not know what a 3-2-1 build is, so let me break it down real quick. Gen 3 short block, Gen 2 heads, Gen 1 cams and timing. So yeah, under this VCT bag, we got a brand new Gen 3 short block from Ford not too long ago, and this build, geez, oh Pete, is for gentleman Grant from Spectral Racing out in Florida, who has commissioned me to build this thing. And why are we doing a 3-2-1 build? Well, there's the heads up. It is because this is going his 2008 road race car, Mustang GT. So not only is he going to do a 3-2-1 build so that we can use the Gen 1 ECU, he's going to use our harness so that it all plug and play, be nice and simple for him. So I'm going to get this thing on an engine stand and show you what it's going to take to convert this Gen 3 short block into a Gen 2 oiling system with oil pan, oil pump gears, and all that good stuff. We need to use the Gen 1, or not Gen 1, but a metal pickup tube and pan with the Gen 2 oil pump, because it has the bolt on, not the press on, because the Gen 3 has the plastic oil pan. Not only that, but pickup tube is incorporated that. It has a slip fitting in the oil pump, and the Gen 3 oil pump does not have provisions to bolt it on. So let's get this thing on the stand and start to party. So before I get this on the engine stand, like I said, slip on oil pickup tube, plastic oil pan, and we do have to change to a Gen 2 oil filter adapter, which most of the stuff is sitting on the bottom of the shelf. We got a whole slew of parts. One thing to mind, especially if you're buying new heads, but if you're putting on your existing heads, dowel pins are missing. So we got a set of those too, all ready to go. Looks like, I'm pretty sure we'll let Grant put on the crank trigger wheel. But we'll ask him. It won't be hard to add, especially since we're probably gonna have to change that backing plate to a Gen 1. I think I bought one. There's a whole bunch of parts, like I said. So other than that, that's about all you gotta do with the short block. Get it to a metal oil pan and pickup tube, and then the Gen 2 oil pump and oil filter adapter. All right, kind of skipped and cruising right along here. Got the Gen 1 2 rear plate on, rear main seal all back on the Gen 3 block, and now the oil pump assembly and crankshaft sprocket are replaced with a Gen 2 type unit and a Gen 1 crank sprocket. Little thing I didn't account for in my parts acquisition was the main stud you need to support the pickup tube. So I'll have to get that, because like I said, the Gen 3 oil pan has the pickup tube and all that at once, so that stud isn't really needed. But I'm gonna continue cruising while I source that bolt and nut, and because I do have the pan in the box there, and might even think about heads on next. Yeah, let's get those out of there and see what we're dealing with. Brand new unobtainium heads. Had to come all the way from Maryland in a dealer buy. So the Ford dealer here got them from another dealer out in the East Coast. They had two, my dealer only had one, and they only would sell a pair. So yeah, here we go. Let's open those up and see what we're dealing with. All right, we got the Gen 2 head out, and Jazz is being shy, wanted to go off camera. I mean, yeah, a little unobtainium here, like I like to say. Can't mess it up. They got a big L on here for left and right heads, and besides, you got the coolant port. It can only go on one way, essentially, unless you're a total idiot. Oh, didn't even realize they had the exhaust studs on here. That's neat. Don't really care, but yeah. So it's just missing the followers and the lifters, which we'll stuff in there after we get it on the head or on the block. So definitely needs to be cleaned up. A lot of debris in there and whatnot that we don't want in the engine and stuff. So block is pretty good, just stained a little bit from probably their washing solution. And yeah, I don't know. Let's check out the gaskets, because we got Gen 2 head gaskets. You're supposed to match the head gaskets to the heads and just see if that all jives. All right, cooking right along here. We got the head surface all cleaned up. There's a lot of residual like glue from shipping tape and whatnot, but make sure to wipe that clean. And moving on over to the block, I got the deck also clean and with the head gasket in place. I also put the gasket off camera on the head, and that all lines up, and obviously it should line up because it's Gen 2 gasket, but yeah, just good to verify. And we'll get this thing on here, got the dowel pins drove in, and we'll start torquing this side down. All right, got the driver's side head all bolted in after cleaning the surfaces real well. Just using stock head bolts. Torque procedure sequence is as follows. And so you tighten them, according to this, 18 foot-pounds, then 55, then you loosen them 180, which feels so weird. Tighten them back to 37, and then 240 degrees. So now I'm gonna prep the other head, and we'll skip over to that once that's on. All right, passenger side head is all torqued. So next thing we gotta do is get the cams in here. And since it's a 3-2-1 build, they're Gen 1 comp cam stage 3 blower cams, because this guy's gonna be forcing some boost through this beautiful piece of machinery. And show you how we time that. So if you remember in our expedition videos how easy Gen 1 cam timing is, since this is going in 08 with our harness, we won't have I'll be able to like super verify and have peace of mind that when I send this thing across the country, that'll be good, so I can verify both banks. All right, getting back to the bottom of this engine, we have to replace this main bolt with a different type of bolt with the stud on top of it, so we can get the spacer for the oil pickup tube. And of course we got the hardware for the oil pump side of the tube all new, so they're good to go there. And then we can put the oil pan on. I'll do it after I do the cover. I think it's just a cleaner install that way. So once I get the pickup tube on, I got the lifters in and the followers, so then we can do some cam timing stuff, which is, I guess I'll show you the setup, you know, before we flip it back over. But we've all seen pickup tubes before, so that's how you convert that all to Gen 1, 2 setup on a Gen 3 short block. If you're doing it to like a Gen 1 or 2 car, you're gonna have all that hardware. We had to source the spacer and hardware from the dealer, of course, because this is a brand new build from the ground up. So let's flip this thing over. So besides having them soak in oil, this is how the brand new lifter followers, hydraulic lifters, come in a bag. I had them soaking in oil for about an hour or so. I'm gonna plop those babies in there and get the rockers in there next. Wah, wah, wah. Of course, it's after I got all the lifters and followers in. But once I get the cams in, I'll flip this thing around and get the windage tray in there. Whoops. All right, according to the manual, you need the keyway at 9 o'clock. That'll put our timing mark over there. I already started putting the cams, but they're not, just started drawing it down. So you don't want to tighten them in the sequence fully, as they call out for, because there's some spring pressure. So I like to follow the sequence quarter turn at a time until all the caps are seated against the head itself. So then once you get, you know, use a little 1/4 inch ratchet, draw up the cams nice and even, quarter at a time, then torque it in sequence as well, of course. And if you don't have access to a manual like I do, this is the orientation that they want the cams at. That D pin there, and this one, a little better reference if this is parallel with the top of the head surface. And since these are comp cam stage 3 blower cams, there's no QR codes, but this is where they would be in a factory setup. It's gonna be a little tight if we do have to use that 1.5 inch wrench, but we do have this one to access to if we gotta wiggle these cams to get the secondary chains on. But so far so good, and always remember to add lube. All right, got our phasers, tensioner, secondary tensioner all timed in there. I didn't show you, but the intake has 2 colored keys lined, straddling the timing there, and the exhaust has 1. Easy way to remember is that it's twice as hard to put something in than out. That's how I remember it. But the left-hand timing chain, or exhaust phaser mark, they say 11 o'clock on the manual, but depending on where you had the cam set, that's where it needs to be at, is generally in this kind of area. Upright, it looks more like noon to me. So now we can continue timing this thing on this side with the primary chains, get the tensioner and guides on there, and then assemble the other side. And then I can flip this over and fix that windage tray that's missing right now. But so far so good. All right. Primary chain, link on there. Yeah, so line up your other color link to that key. Just make sure once we do put the guides in, it'll be easier to verify, but that's where you want it. So put the guides on there. All right, we're all timed up here. I did have to rotate the crankshaft a few degrees. There's too much slack on this side, and so this chain just kept wanting to slip off the crank, but you can see we're still lined up on our timing mark there and there. Double check that, and now we can carry on to the other side. Put the cams in there and get this side all wrapped up. All right, I've showed you in other videos where I just have the keyway at noon. I feel like you could time this whole thing like that, because they say 9 and then they say to go to noon after you get the left side done, and you definitely have to do that. There's no way you're gonna time this and get the chains lined up without having the keyway at noon. So get the rest of the guides, tension on there, and then this thing will be all timed up, ready to move on. All right, she's all timed up. I took the liberty of getting the windage / oil pan gasket on there. And I already did a time lapse when I did the oil pump gears on the Expedition ride, but turned this thing over about 57 times and the links still all line up. So that's pretty sweet and a good peace of mind. Thing turned over really nice. Also, I'm gonna show you how to prime this thing, especially when you do a fresh rebuild. If we're just doing oil pump gears or cams and stuff where there's still oil everywhere in the galleys of the block and heads, I usually don't prime them. But in this case, when we're replacing the short block or a fresh build, like I said, good idea to prime it, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. But now, got the front seal installed in the cover, and I'm gonna install that and just place the covers on there anyway, because I still gotta get the VCT solenoids, which go on the front of this cover. So let's get that on there, get the balancer on there, and the front will be all tied up. So before you go slapping the cover on, I've been guilty of this myself, chasing down leaks. Make sure you get your dabs of silicone in the corners, or where the block meets the head, in these 4 places. Not gonna do the oil pan yet because it's obviously not on there, and we're actually putting not the stock one. Grant wanted the Moroso Road Race, so I'm gonna order that and get that on there after the fact, and it'll be a little cleaner install. So don't forget your silicone, and don't put too much. Timing chain covers on, hardware is on and tight. Started putting on the pulley. Don't forget to lube up the front seal before you do, and put some silicone in the keyway so you don't get any leaks coming out of that bolt. And big fan of this installer tool. Probably got it off of Amazon years ago. But yeah, that's the best way to get these pulleys back on. You'll know when you seat it up against the crank sprocket and the oil pump and all that good stuff. And then I'll show you how I torque this without having a flywheel on the back. All right, so in order to torque this, we have no flex plate, no flywheel, nothing to grasp onto back there. Little strap wrench comes in super handy, especially if you're doing this inside of a car. Obviously I got a little more room without the water pump and everything else, but this is the move to hold this pulley while you torque this to spec. All right, obviously I don't have the VCT solenoids in. I just wanted to slap these on here and see what this beauty looks like, all brand new like. So next step is to, once I get the oil pan, I'll slap that on there, and then I'll show you how we prime this. And I don't want to put the valve covers on permanently either, because I want to see everything getting oiled. Safe to assume we're gonna have no problems, just because how well it turned over and whatnot. But yeah, so when we come back in the next clip, we'll have that oil pan on and do some priming. Here's the Moroso Road Race pan that we're gonna throw on here. I got the 4 spots silicone where you want this thing to seal against the timing chain cover and the back cover. Before you do that, it can be a little difficult because the windage tray obviously can't be put on before the pickup tube. So I'm gonna throw this on, tighten all the fasteners, bring it back right side up, and then prime this thing. All right, got the valve covers back off, oil pan back on. Hot tip, the Gen 3 oil pan bolts are about twice the length as a Gen 1 and 2. So if you're building it from new, like from scratch like we are, gotta get that hardware as well. So now you'll notice I got this little contraption hooked up to prime the oil system. So this is just a oil pressure test kit that I'm utilizing. I broke the other quick disconnect fitting, but it was just really a 90 degree. Took one of their adapters, removed the oil pressure sensor, put in theirs, and then kind of took the fitting. I usually use this to fill transmissions, especially 6R80s and diffs. And this little pump here pressurizes our canister, and then we can release the kraken that is the oil in there. So I purposely left the valve covers off. I haven't sealed them up yet because I wanted to see that all the oil's getting in there, and then I'll rotate the engine once I see that, and then keep priming it. And while I'm leaving the oil pan drain open to collect the oil, because I got to ship this thing dry. So yeah, that's how we're going to prime this thing. And I'll show you at that point, once it's done priming it up to the valve train, I'll show you what that should look like. And yes, you do need an oil filter on. I'm doing that next. I pumped this up a bunch of times, cracked it open, kept pumping, and you can slowly see it coming out of the first rocker here. You can kind of hear some squeaking. Like little baby birds coming to life. Even on the other side, I can hear it. See oil getting in there, so I'm gonna give it some more, give it some rotations till I use up all the oil. It's got little Tweety birds in there. Oh, we'll feed you some horsepower, don't you worry. And then we're gonna rotate it some more, just to kind of fill the oil pump as well. So yeah, that's how you prime this. Prime a fresh engine. All right, well, I don't need to show you the thing with the valve covers on. I'm sure you've seen a million Coyotes, but as that thing drains, I will end this video here. So that's kind of the rundown if you're gonna build a brand new 3-2-1 setup. It is pricey when you buy everything brand new, but that's what Grant wanted for that extra peace of mind, so we made it happen. And if you're interested in maybe doing the same thing, or maybe using just a Gen 3 short block and we source Gen 1 or 2 heads, blah, 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 hit me up, matt.makeitmodular@gmail.com. And if you like this video, give it the thumbs up, and please consider subscribing for more OEM plus Coyote swaps. We got some stuff coming down for the Expedition I got up in the air here, and what's next? Just got to find out. So we'll see you next time.